Okay, thanks for coming, guys. This is something really important that I wanted to get you up to speed on because it's something that's coming down the road. As you know, we've been operating in multiple facilities, and at somewhere in the not too distant future, we're going to have to bring everybody together into one facility to operate. And so we have a bit of a plan here that we're going to work towards that. We've talked to HR, we've talked to the other departments, and we have a pretty clear picture that this is going to change fairly quickly. So you'll be glad to know that we have a plan here moving forward. It involves some training and to get used to the idea of change. Then ultimately, we're going to put you together with a bunch of people you haven't worked with before. So in one new facility. Is there any questions you have around that?
It says here about moving livestock and people together before the new barn. What do you mean by that?
That's a very good question that we will get to, but I just want to give you a little more of the overall picture here. One thing that we know why we're changing is we have animal care requirements that we can no longer stay where we are. It's very important from a research standpoint that we have a facility that is in keeping with the current standards and so on that we need to have for livestock. So that's really what's driving this.
Well, who had input into this plan? This is the first we've heard of it.
Yeah, and that's right. It is first you've heard of it. There's been a lot of planning has gone into the structure piece itself, and there's been work with, like I said, with HR, and we'll get to some more of those details here. But I want to give you the overall bigger picture, and part of it is our values as we're going forward with this change. So to give you some context there. We certainly, going forward, want to have a priority of animal care and comfort in this new facility. And we want to make sure that the operation that we do put in place is one where we're all together aiming for the highest standards that we can reach as we operate this kind of a facility. So it's going to really take everybody bringing their piece to the plan. This is a starting point. This is a template. It's not the plan. It's just the sort of the vision piece of it that we have going forward.
Well, that's great. You outlined your values for us, and we understand those values, but what about our values? You didn't ask us for input during this plan. We're the guys on the ground that are going to have to implement it. And who made this plan, and where did it come from? That's what we want to know.
No, and that's a valid question. Really, this plan was to try and get a foundation that we can work from. Certainly the input of yourselves and the staff have to come into this plan. And this is not a complete plan at this point in time. It's a foundation from which we will continually create the plan that we need to have happen.
But it seems like we're coming in a little late. Like we've missed the bus. You're already telling us that we're bringing two facilities together and merging staff, merging cattle. How are we going to implement that? We have 4 different shifts right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of complicating things around that, and we're going to need your help to work through it.
Because there's a lot in here that I can't even see how we're going to make it work.
No, and that's like I said, this is just a platform to start working from. We will have to spend time. Obviously, you haven't had a lot of chance to look at it. We'll have to work through it piece at a time and deal with the issues one at a time to get where it is we need to go.
Well, we do have to get there. We understand and can appreciate that, but why can't we just carry on status quo until the new facility's built and then move in and start working on protocols then and merge the staff then? Why do we have to do all this work ahead of time and disrupt the staff and the flow?
Yeah, it's, both of you are very important to this process. And so maybe you can help me out by sort of giving me some background about the sorts of things that are most concerning to you. What's on your thoughts when you first hear this? What is it that you're thinking that we want to make sure is addressed here?
Well, I'm thinking you worked in the facility at one point in time too. You know, it's a dated, old facility. We're running at capacity now, and you want to increase the number of cows that we're milking in that facility. It's going to put a strain on our staff. It's going to put a strain on our resources. I'm not sure how we're going to move the cattle around. You know, there will be quite a bit of movement with cattle. Operationally, I'm not convinced we can make this work.
No, clearly there's going to be some challenges, and it doesn't mean that everything that's here is exactly the way it's going to happen. This is a template. It's not the final pieces. We have to build that piece.
So there's some room for feedback. You know, if I have some suggestions about how we could make this work operationally, there's room for that.
Yeah, absolutely. We had to get I'm thinking we had to get a starting place. Otherwise, we'd go in circles for a long time before we could get started. But you're right. There's a lot of things that are here that are they're just to get a bit of a process going. And so really, where we could start even today is what things will be helpful in addressing the concerns that you each have, because we've got the practical livestock side, we've got the staff side, and clearly we've got to get some buy-in here. And so just want to get some feedback from you as to what might promote that and what might make that a process that could move this forward to reach the goal that we ultimately know we have to get to.
Yeah, I think I could see how this plan could work and it could come together. We need to talk likely as a group, the three of us, and come up with a high level plan. And then we need to involve staff in the planning and get some input from staff and really help the employees understand where we're coming from and why we're driving this change and why we need to get there. And then let them come up with some ideas of how we're going to get there and help us work through this change. I really think operationally the staff will have some key ideas as to how we can move cattle, how we can milk more cows and keep our facility going for this short period of time. So I think if we can come to an agreement, sort of the direction we need to get to, and then involve the staff with planning, we could probably make this work.
Yeah, it'll come together.
Mm-hmm. And I think even just giving us some time to go over this, because this is a lot to absorb.
Absolutely.
Kind of out of the blue, it feels like. But yeah, there's a lot of good points as I read further on that we can bring in once we kind of sit down and go through it and sit down as a group. I think we can make most of it work.
And I'm wondering if we shouldn't take the time to meet with the staff one-on-one and ask them their thoughts on this. Maybe some staff won't want to be part of this planning process. They'll just want to be told what the next step is. And we'll have other staff that'll be really keen on being part of the planning. So really we should take the time to meet with them one-on-one and find out their thoughts and then go from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll have a lot of good input on even some of this transition with the livestock about how to make that smooth too.
Yeah, I think these are the kinds of things that will make this a success or make it more workable than just a piece of paper. Yeah, it's important to me that we feel we're on the same team going the same direction. So I'm just wondering now, with a little bit more information, is that helping with that process?
Mm-hmm, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think we can move forward on this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I know when you first put this in front of us, it seemed like a lot, but now that we can see the step-by-step plan and understand that there has been a lot of thought go into this prior to you delivering it to us, yeah, I can see how this could work. And once we meet with the staff and begin those steps, that'll really be a good start and take a lot of the pressure off.
Yeah, really appreciate your open-mindedness to this. I know it's a bit of a shock, but your input's going to be very valuable, and I really thank you for that. It's going to be important going forward.